So the fix for this one is essentially I'm going to use a combination of different burrs. I'll be using an inverted cone burr, a couple of like little bud burrs, and essentially what I'm going to be doing is making that setting a little bit lower and allowing our new stone to fit in there, and then that will give me a little bit more holding power with the prong that's been worn down, and then I'll be able to like kind of give it a little bit of reshaping without taking away from its holding power, because the stone will be set lower, if that makes sense. This was her grandmother's ring, so I'm gonna be very careful and take my time with it. The inside, you can see how part of the burr disappears. There's a channel in here, and that holds the inside of this trapeze baguette, as you can see with these two here and this one over here. You see how the table of the stone is almost right up against that top edge of that channel. I got to be really careful not to, obviously opal is really soft, so I got to really pay attention here to this one. So this prong is like the furthest point out on the stone, or on the piece, excuse me. And so eventually it's going to wear, but that stone itself is set rather high. Like you can see that it's set higher than these other two here. So eventually that's probably going to wear, and the stone's going to fall out like this side did. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking the bezel pusher and I'm actually pushing the rest of that prong outward to make more room for the stone. So the next thing I did was to take my graver and work down that ledge that the girdle of this stone sits on. You can see I went inside that little channel. It's all bright and shiny. And then right in front of the prong to set the whole setting lower. So I'm gonna keep doing that and fitting the stone, and paying attention to my corners, because sometimes the corners is the only thing holding you up. So yeah, that's part of minimizing what you're taking away from doing a repair like this, where you're trying to make it not happen again. The only other option was, like to get a laser welder and build up that prong, but I don't have that kind of money, so I'm doing it this way. So here is, you can see the center stone here. It's almost low enough. Almost low enough. So we're gonna take it down a little bit more, but work it a little bit at a time. Okay, so give the sides a little pinch. This is essentially going to raise that prong up a little bit. It's going to narrow it a little bit, but it'll lift it up. And I don't need it up much, just enough to work. Okay, so I want to say that is ready. Man, that is a beautiful opal there. And just as a side note, it is quite difficult to find perfect matches for trapeze baguettes because a lot of the time, well, I don't know if it's a lot of the time, but sometimes they are made at with certain angle cuts on each side for a specific setting. Um, it's quite difficult to find to source these types of things, like to source a diamond trapeze baguette that's the perfect radius and everything. I just don't have those types of sources. And also, it's a situation where the customer didn't have like a lot of money to throw at it, but wanted her grandma's ring to, you know, be whole and wearable again. So to that end, trying to just make it happen. And it took me quite a while to source even this stone. Okay, so I'm happy with the setting now, and so I am going to form up a extra fine micro polishing pin here and get it all nice and polished shiny so that any light that's reflected into that stone and hits the back of that setting is nice and bright and polished and bounces back, makes a nice sparkly, helps the stone shine brighter. So that's what we're gonna do here. Yeah, awesome. Looks like it fell right into place. So I'm just taking the really small motions to try and massage some of that silver up.